Welcome everyone to another episode of Allergy Smart TV. I'm your host, Aaron Dwyer. Back in episode 9, I got a fantastic comment on the blog about may contains. And as far as food allergies and anaphylaxis is concerned, may contains is actually a big issue. For those of you who know, food labeling is the cornerstone of handling and dealing with food allergies and anaphylaxis. Because without food labeling or correct food labeling, we're really in the dark with regards to the contents of the food that we consume or give to our children, should the case may be that they have their food allergy and anaphylaxis as ours do. So today, based on Sarah's comments from episode 9, I want to talk about may contains. Up to this point in the show, we have yet to even cover foods, food labeling, and other issues surrounding consumption of food directly. I've been talking about a whole range of other things, but I think it's time now that we actually talked about food labeling, and I'm actually going to start with the may contains. So primarily this particular episode is going out to people who already are a little bit familiar with the fact that they do actually have anaphylaxis or food allergies to deal with. And what we're looking at here is a particular area of the food labeling of food, and that is the section that says may contains. Now, you've all seen it on the back of a pack or on the side of a pack where the ingredients are. Just underneath that or around that location, the companies are meant, and it depends what country you live in too, because some countries have still yet to bring out a law to state that thou shalt put down the major food ingredients that the 8 to 12 major food ingredients that cause food allergies. They are meant to be clearly disclosed on the food labeling of the product. However, that's not the case in all countries. So I know it's the case here in Australia, also the UK, and in the US. Not sure about Canada, and if you're in any other countries, I strongly advise you to have a look and see what the case is in your own country. But here in Australia, I do know that there is a law that states that the companies that produce food here in Australia have to have the particular food ingredients, the major food allergy ingredients listed on the label. Now, when it comes to may contains, that's a slightly different kettle of fish yet again, because the may contains is purely just that. The company is stating, when they say may contains, that there is some chance along the line of the production of that food or food-based ingredient that it has come into contact with the particular food element that is listed on the may contains. So in the case of dairy, it's very easy for cross-contamination to occur because it's a liquid-based food. However, you've also got the peanuts and all other products that can definitely be may contains, because companies that do not have the ability, either financially or physically, have the ability to produce a completely separated line, are not able to purely and fully 100% clean the equipment in between runs of running one product line through and then turning around and running a completely different product line through that's not meant to have those same ingredients. So think about it. You can have a particular run of chocolate run through that has any sort of ingredients in it, and then when they come to do the next run of chocolate, it may be a different type of chocolate, a different type of chocolate product that doesn't have those same ingredients in it. However, the cleaning process for a lot of these particular lines, these automated lines, is to just run a batch of chocolate through or another batch of product through, picking up the bits and pieces, the debris that are around there as it goes through, and then they start the second run. Because it's almost impossible to completely clean these lines. Companies like Kineton actually have dedicated facilities. Now, probably, and most likely, it's cost them a hell of a lot of money to actually do that. And that's fine. They're actually reaping the benefits because of customer awareness, product awareness, and the fact that they are the company that have taken all these measures to look after their patrons. And the patrons, as we do, buy their product. It's as simple as that. We recognize the level of care that they've chosen to provide within manufacturing of their products, and even though their products are more expensive, we know, we're guaranteed that that is coming from an environment that we can be sure of. And that's the sort of thing that more and more companies are needing to bring on board. The fact that food allergies aren't going away, they're only getting bigger. They have to cater for that particular crowd, and the ones that do are reaping the early benefits now while the market is still relatively young. And I think it's great to see more and more companies becoming food allergic aware and being able to produce these dedicated lines of products. So getting back onto the May Contains, it's up to you. It's a personal choice whether you let your children or yourself, depending on where you're at, consume May Contain products. It is risky. If it says may contain, there is a very good chance that it will and may contain some form of trace element, going from a large piece of debris coming off a previous line all the way down to trace elements, to the oils, to all sorts of things. May contains is a very real risk. So that being said, I think there are three different types. There are people here that we know that won't consume any May Contains at all, even though they themselves are not anaphylactic. Then there are those that consume, that don't let their children consume, but they consume, and then there are those that just everybody consumes. So it's a personal choice, this one, it really is. But you need to understand that May Contains actually does mean something, and it really does mean that there's a good chance that there could be something in that product that you're consuming. So I wanted to bring your attention to May Contains, and thank you to Sarah for having such a great comment on the blog. I also want to thank Fiona from Brisbane, who had sent me some material last week, and I haven't gotten around to commenting on it, but it revolves around newspapers here in Australia. More and more are starting to comment and actually doing 3-page spreads on food allergies and anaphylaxis. Very interesting how there's a lot of talk going on around it here in Australia. I have a checklist here that I want to talk about today, so I don't want to miss anything. Excuse me for a moment. That's right. I found an article today, in fact the other day, and it says that in Victoria, Australia, ambulance call-outs to schools has risen 52% in the past 5 years, directly related to asthma and food allergies and anaphylaxis. Now that's a very interesting statistic. Over 50% increase in the last 5 years of ambulance call-outs to schools. Just amazing. So honestly, things are definitely happening out there in the schools. I know for a fact in our school there are more kids now that have EpiPens in the office than when we first started there at that school 3 years ago. I think we're up to about 8 children now, and a school of about 400. So it's quite amazing. Okay, on to last topic for the day. Jesse's favourite things. Yes, it is actually at the printers, it is actually being printed, and I am waiting 1 or 2 days away now from getting the first sample of this children's book. I mentioned it probably about 3 or 4 episodes ago, but we're actually finally getting there. Can't wait to share this one with you. We actually have a boys book. This is just the front cover, and this is going to be titled Jack's Favourite Things. So we've got the girls book and the boys book, and the illustrations are almost complete with this one here, probably 1 or 2 days away from illustrations being complete, and that'll be wrapped up and sent off to the printer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make these books available as ebooks as well as printed versions. So if you want the printed versions to be able to read it to your kids as they go to sleep at night, which is what we do with ours, by all means you'll be able to get your hands on a printed version. And I'll be putting them out through FAN, and here in Australia through the AAI. Of course you could buy them directly off the website, and as I said, ebooks, and the ebooks will be immediate downloads as PDFs, and you'll be able to share that, print that if you want, and the kids will be able to look at it on the screen or print it if you need to. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick roundup. I look forward to speaking with you again next weekend. Until then, bye for now.